In the world of birding, there are certain species which are known for being difficult to find. Species such as the California condor, whooping crane, and the Kirtland's warbler can be difficult to locate because their populations are small and restricted to only a few specific areas. Whereas Arctic-dwelling species such as the spectacled eider are not difficult to find because their populations are small, but rather because they inhabit the northernmost reaches of North America and Russia. Of the 87 different families of birds which breed in the United States and Canada, there is one family which encompasses many species which walk the line between myth and reality: Rallidae. Otherwise known as the rails, the family Rallidae includes coots, crakes, and gallinules, and while coots and gallinules can be relatively easy to find if you're in the right place, crakes are an entirely different story. There are 7 different species of crake which breed in the United States and Canada. These being the clapper rail, king rail, Ridgway's rail, Virginia rail, yellow rail, black rail, and the sora. All of these species are marsh specialists and are usually only briefly glimpsed while foraging for food along the margins of vegetation. Personally, I have only ever been fortunate enough to see one of these birds out in the open. The species in question being a sora, which I got very brief looks at while birding with my parents last July. Back in 2024, I was scouring a local marsh for least bitterns when I briefly heard a quiet yet distinct call coming from the cattails. This was the call of the elusive Virginia rail. Much to my dismay, I was unable to locate this mysterious species. Yet little did I know that a year and a half later I would get an incredible opportunity to film this bird in a setting I never would have expected. Last December, I got word that a Virginia rail was hanging out at a local wilderness area only 15 minutes away from my apartment. Not wanting to miss this opportunity, I rallied the troops and headed to the FWR Dixon Wilderness area. Now, as far as birding spots go in my local area, FWR is probably the most popular amongst photographers. There's a nice boardwalk, the trail is relatively short, and for as long as I've been visiting this spot, locals have been putting out large quantities of seed for the birds to enjoy, so the looks you can get at many species are downright incredible. According to the reports I had read on eBird, the rail had been hanging out around a small pool of open water just off of the boardwalk. So while we waited for the rail to show up, we decided to check out the other birds which were chattering away in the nearby trees and bushes. As far as which was the most beautiful bird at FWR, I'd say it was a toss-up between the northern cardinal and the blue jay. Personally, I've always had a soft spot for blue jays and corvids in general, but you can't deny that the northern cardinal is a gem of a feeder bird. Among the cardinals and jays were countless American tree sparrows, which you can hear chattering in the background of the majority of these shots. Alongside the American tree sparrows were countless dark-eyed juncos, another small species of sparrow which we only see in southern Ontario during fall and winter, as they spend the warmer months of the year breeding in northern Canada. While watching the juncos picking away at some dried mealworms that were left out by FWR's visitors, a small chicken-esque bird ran out into the open. This bird was a Virginia rail. Just as I was, You might be curious about what a bird which primarily feeds on aquatic invertebrates was eating at this time of year. Despite having access to only a very small pool of water, this resourceful little bird still managed to find some type of invertebrate larva that was buried in the mud. I also filmed this bird eat a peanut, which was wildly unexpected. In between feeding sessions, the rail would hide out in a small cavern which had formed underneath some snow-covered vegetation. Although I do not possess the technology to see inside this cavern, I can only imagine that the vibes were immaculate. Given the normally secretive nature of this bird, getting to observe this individual up close and personal made this encounter a pretty incredible way to finish off 2025. Speaking of finishing 2025, to celebrate New Year's Eve, my girlfriend and I celebrated the occasion with both of our families, which was a blast to say the least.
Oh, it's so pretty. Ooh, the colors. Oh, these are like little jewels. Every time I'm eating, you're like...
Don't worry, the slow-mo's on.
Fermented onions, sauerkraut, Caesar dressing in here. Everybody doesn't know.
It was carbonated.
So this Yule log this year is in Nanaimo. That's a Canadian theme.
Goodness, beautiful.
So
Awesome things in
I
one.
know he's done it yet again. Well, because I said.
Also attending our New Year's celebration was my girlfriend's parents' miniature dachshund, Abby.
How can you not like the nature? I don't know.
There's a lot of this.
Over the 7 years that I've known Abby, she has successfully wriggled her way into my heart. Not only is she super cute, but she is one of the funniest looking animals I have ever seen. She somehow has the personality of a cat, the general appearance of a dog, and the proportions of a seal. Now, Abby wasn't the only canine attendee of this year's festivities, as my girlfriend's parents just recently adopted an adorable Labrador Retriever by the name of Elty. Initially, my girlfriend's parents were raising Elty for the National Service Dog Foundation, but as a result of a health complication, NSD decided to remove Elty from their program. With this being the case, my girlfriend's parents decided to adopt Elty, and she is now thoroughly a part of the family.
Coming up, go up. Go up. There you go. Go see Mama. Oh. So cute. She's our lap dog. Good girl.
Like when I was talking to her, you were talking to her.
You good girl? Are you a good girl? Look at how cute you are. Look at your face. Nice face.
Elty is now the
Squished
fifth
up.
puppy which my girlfriend's parents have raised for NSD. The first four being Nelson, Cindy, Bowen, and Knight. Nelson is currently a companion animal for his adult raiser and is occasionally taken care of by my girlfriend's parents when his owners are out of town.
Oh, look at
Cindy is working for the Ottawa Police Service as a support for their staff and public, and both Bowen and Knight have been placed with clients of the National Service Dog Foundation. All in all, it was a fantastic New Year's Eve, and I rang in 2026 excited to find out what the new year had in store for me. A week later, I was heading to Toronto to search for a rare duck species, but not just any duck. I was looking for arguably one of the most beautiful ducks in North America, the king eider. But I'm going to be honest with you, this trip did not go as planned. For starters, I didn't realize that the walk from the parking lot to the spot where the duck was hanging out would be 8 kilometers, so much of the time which I had allocated to filming was taken up by walking instead. When I finally got to the location, I managed to get some great looks at long-tailed ducks which were swimming past the shore. Unfortunately, the king eider was on the opposite side of the bay at the end of a different peninsula, and this is where things started to become less than ideal. Let me show you what I mean with some visual aids. Okay, so the battleship is the eider, the shoe is some other birders, and I'm the thimble. Just kidding, the thimble's lame, I'm Bjorn and Mox from Scythe. So what happened next was the other birders and myself decided to walk to the other peninsula in hopes of getting better looks at the bird. While we were walking, the eider decided to float to the other peninsula where we just were. After realizing what had happened, the other birders decided to walk back to the peninsula, while I remained where I was as I didn't want the same thing to happen twice. Unfortunately, the only good views I ended up getting were of everyone else getting up-close looks at the eider. And to top it all off, the eider did end up moving, but instead of moving closer towards me, it moved further out into the middle of the lake. And at this point, if I didn't leave the park right then and there, I would have been stuck in rush hour Toronto traffic, which if you're not from Ontario, is a fate worse than death. Now, even though I got great looks at a female king eider 2 years ago, I was really hoping to get some close-up footage of this male because I thought I could make a cool video out of it. And for me, this is the hardest thing about being a bird tuber. Allow me to explain while this footage of my girlfriend and I visiting the Royal Ontario Museum plays. When it comes to making videos, I have a fairly high standard for what clips do and do not get included. For every clip you see in one of my videos, there is almost always 10 or more clips that are not included. If I'm unable to pull focus properly, find birds, or film enough clips that meet the standards only I have set for myself for whatever reason, then I don't make a video. And this is the main reason why I publish so infrequently. And this is something that I would really like to change in 2026, as making these videos really is one of my favorite things. Now, I don't plan on stopping the birding vlogs anytime soon, but I am planning on experimenting with some different video formats which should allow me to post more frequently without having to sacrifice video quality. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope your year is off to an excellent start, and as always,